Hi, this is Paco Calviño from UPC. This is the fourth video on the basic concepts on PBL. In this short video, we will compare problem-based learning and project-based learning. We are now going to focus on the difference between problem-based learning and project-based learning. Problem-based learning is a lot like project-based. It is the learning that occurs as a result of the effort of students to solve a problem, a case. In fact, everything that I have explained so far, that is the definition, the benefits, the process, are similar, mostly the process. But they have important differences, which I am going to underline. A typical case of problem-based learning is that of teaching in medicine. In this discipline, the problem takes the form of a clinical case where the students, at the beginning of the activity, receive a description from the teacher of a patient's symptoms. For a few days, he wakes up dizzy, and then it goes away. After eating, he vomits, has a little fever. What could be happening to him? After the case is raised, the students discuss what it can be, what the possibilities are. The teacher guides the discussion and perhaps writes on the whiteboard the tasks that need to be done. For example, go to the library to consult the annals, talk to an expert professor, check the internet, etc. The students distribute the assignments among the group members, do them during the week, and then come back the following week to the classroom to discuss the case again in light of what they have found. The teacher keeps guiding the dialogue, which is now much better informed, and eventually they reach a diagnosis. Or perhaps new learning tasks are identified for the following week. But in any case, the next week the case must be closed, because another case, which deals with a different pathology, must be started. That is the dynamic of problem-based learning. This could be applied to law, economics, psychology. There are many disciplines in which this methodology can be applied. So, what are the fundamental differences with project-based learning? In problem-based, the activities are short. In a week or two, they are over. The groups are large. They might be 8, 10, or even more students who discuss and make preliminary evaluation. Then they seek the information and finally recommend a final assessment. The emphasis is in contrasting opinions, different hypotheses, discussing possibilities, getting information, and eventually reaching a conclusion about the problem. We have already seen that in project-based learning, the activity is much longer. It can take a full semester. Students work in small teams. There are 3 or 4 in each group. The small size of the team produces positive interdependence, since all members are necessary for the task to move forward. The emphasis is in the product and in the work plan. You have to develop a product, computer program, for example, at a given deadline. The group, the team, has to follow a work plan to produce the results on time. This scenario is more suitable if one intends to develop certain types of skill in their students. For example, commitment to a working plan, delivering on time. They have to develop the ability to identify tasks, distribute them among the members of the group, and integrate the results. The project lasts for a few months, and they have to make periodic deliveries every week, every 2 weeks, for example. Each deliverable is necessary. It has to be integrated into the project. If a student doesn't do his or her part, the group, the team, cannot finish, cannot deliver on time. That generates responsibility. That doesn't happen in problem-based learning. The student who was supposed to go to the library to browse the records of the clinical cases, the annals, if he doesn't do so, the group will not be too affected. The following Monday, when they all meet again, even if that student doesn't show up in the meeting, it is not going to prevent the group from reaching a conclusion. He or she will miss the discussion, won't learn that part, but that's all. The effect is not very substantial. On the other hand, in a group of 3 or 4, if one doesn't do his part, the consequences could be important. At least the project is going to be delayed. This also encourages other types of skills that we might be interested to develop. Like, for example, the ability to identify and solve conflicts in a team. Imagine the situation. It is already the second week that our partner is not delivering his or her part. And that's affecting the development of the project. We have to talk to him or her. This is not the critical in problem-based learning. So, if we have a personal interest in favoring this skill, or if they are a mandatory contribution of our course, project-based learning is a good choice.